The program you are about to watch is known as a Tavern Talk, a show where we as players discuss past events. Today's episode contains spoilers from Venture into Vimuros, Season 2, Episode 4. Viewer discretion is advised.
Spiders. Spiders. Swarm of spiders.
Oh, darn.
Spider speed. Probably all spiders.
Can I Vine Whip? Yeah, I want to do either non-lethal or as little damage with Thorn Whip as I can.
To the spiders?
It's more of the... yeah, the spiders.
The spiders.
Those spiders.
Spiders.
Okay.
Spiders. The spiders. A spider.
The spiders.
Spiders. You're definitely gonna hit spiders.
Spiders. If I'm holding a handful of breakfast sausage, you can pick the spiders. Spiders.
Spiders.
Spiders.
Spiders.
Spiders popped up. A lot of them. Too many of them. Operating in a hive mind that at least Zanog noticed. They scooped up Bavnik and left. Give us your viewpoints on that. We'll go Alex first this time.
Zanog recognized the magic and the hive mindness of that. It's like it's inklings, right? It's all clues, it's all breadcrumbs of something more ridiculous. So like following it and then getting to Ezekiel. I'm glad you guys picked up on that
Yeah.
deep YouTube reference.
Wait, I do have to cut in. James was trying to go past it so hard while you guys were doing that. It was great. You kept coming back to it, and James
What's
is
your
like,
name?
James is like trying to plow past it. It was killing me.
Shout out to Maxwell TV. I hope he's doing good. But getting to Ezekiel and then like having like Zanog's like, this guy's gonna either blow up with spiders, something's gonna happen. This is not just normal. And so when he turns into another maw person, it's just like, there it is. It's and I even mentioned it in that session too. Is like there's this necromancer Algratus out. I didn't mention Algratus by name. He's out there. He's vexing me. This is making fun. He's laughing in my face right now. Every time we see one of these guys, he's laughing at my face. And he takes it personally. You know, it's just another point of frustration.
Why does he take that personally?
I think it's because like I've served time for necromancy. I have believed to be like the person who stumbled on it, right? Because it's illegal throughout Vimuros, and like it's almost like a sunken cost fallacy, right? It's like I've put the time in, like I deserve to be, but I am not. Apparently I'm nowhere near.
Right.
So it's just like this whole. It's like almost like it's a whole thing. It's just like this self-doubt, self-shaming.
Yeah.
Like go harder, go faster. Like there's so much more to catch up to. Apparently, like every day you learn you're even further below the totem pole. You know what I mean? So.
Great. Jacob, what's your viewpoint on the spiders with many E's, many R's, and one S at the end?
Josiah was completely okay with letting Bavnik go. And I feel like I roleplayed that very well by letting it happen for as long as possible before Josiah had to intervene.
Yeah, Holly would not have let that fly. Pun intended.
She's an Airrock.
It's an Erica.
All right, I think that's where I go, guys.
What do you mean? You have a flying carpet. You fly too.
We're gonna film the rest of this episode with an empty square where Jacob should be.
I think that Josiah is kind of conflicted on the whole deal. Like, for the spiders specifically, maybe not too flustered, not too stressed about it, He's definitely going to act like he is for Holly's sake, but he's not too flustered about it, and he's just kind of, this is more of like helping Zanog out, like seeing this is something that Zanog wants to go help Bavnik, and being like, okay, well, I've been traveling with Zanog for half of a year, arguably last friend that he's really got. I should probably keep this friendship going, so let's help him out. But then running into Ezekiel, I think that there's more of like a urgency of threat, but also like we need to make sure we're prepared before we go into a fight. especially after what happened with the last small person, like he definitely feels more prepared. From a player standpoint, I can do more damage than before.
Yeah.
But from Josiah's standpoint, like he's got a new gun, he's got the powers from Aurelia, so he's not as scared anymore. But I think that he kind of wants to explore the forest a little bit and figure out like, well, where's this key go before we get to the spiders? Because like, what if the key has something really cool that helps us fight the spiders and the mall person? But then there's the conflict of like, what if the spiders eat Bavnik? So maybe we should go find the spiders first. So I think it's a really long roundabout way of saying that Josiah is conflicted because he doesn't care about Bavnik, but he does care about his friends and their feelings.
Right.
So he's willing to help, but he's not really invested in Bavnik at all.
Did you, Jacob, get the hint that Bavnik's like a commodity to this trading society?
I didn't.
Okay, because I know it's in there somewhere. Well, Holly's like, we need Bavnik. There's stuff that he knows. We just need to get him to open up still.
Yeah, no, I didn't even catch that at all. So I'll pretend I didn't hear that, you know? I'll pretend.
Saying that, I just didn't put that together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's just Bavnik.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, like the way Josiah took that was like, and me as a player, the way I took that is like, Holly's put so much time into Bavnik. She wants him back.
You know, there's the bit where he's not a very good ranger. And she laughs. She's like, yeah, you're right. But I don't need him to be a ranger. I need him to open up.
Yeah, be real honest with you. Like, I listen 99.9% of the time when you're talking. But I guess I just wasn't listening.
It was when you two were flying over the trees. I believe it was at that time. Because it was just you two. And you laughed out loud. But, oh well, I guess.
Maybe I was laughing over it, like, as you were talking.
Like,
maybe I just heard the first part of it and I just laughed over it. Because...
I want Jacob to know that Josiah would have picked it up, that
okay,
Bavnik's a commodity to your trading people.
Someone that we need. Yeah. Got it. Now it's more of like a mission. But I'm going to play as if it took a little bit for that to sink in.
Okay, that's
because
fine.
It took a long time for it to sink in for me.
just as Josiah has had to get many random objects and items for Rosalind, now he's got to get a person for Holly.
Sounds about right. What is the black market trade like pyramid? You start at the bottom of collecting objects and like rocks and stuff, and you slowly make your... I guess this would be orc traffic. You know what? I've got my question. I'm very curious as a player. Like, I know we've touched on like the subjects of the characters and stuff like that. And maybe we've kind of touched on this subject a little bit as we've gone through this episode. But I'm actually very curious as a player as to how Zanog is handling being back in Xyleia and like finding out that like the necromancer has touched Xyleia to like Gratis has touched Xyleia to some extent, or that we don't know if both of his parents are actually dead or not, or you know what happened at Gotovac. Like, we don't know exactly like what's going on like we thought we did. So I'm really curious as to like Zanog's feelings on it, because Zanog's like, I feel like he's very open on the surface, but his actual feelings are very closed up.
I think that's true. I think Zanog will tell you how he's feeling either way. It's just I think the delivery system is not proper, right? He'll tell you in his like, it's cut and dry. The charisma's low, you know what I mean? So it's like he's just gonna give it to you in some, maybe even in some jargon that you don't even understand, because he's like, he's operating on a whole nother level like that, I guess. To answer your first question though, not well. If anybody's watched the most previous sessions where we've been through Xyleia, like the little bit we've even been through, it's like already like, I feel like Josiah and him are arguing, not arguing, but like bickering more than usual. Everything's kind of coarse, and he's just trying to hurry people up, and like clearly there's something eating at him that's not been solved or hasn't been quelled yet, between being home and the feelings of inadequacy. Inadequacy is like at every turn. Like he teleported across the goddamn country, and there's another screaming reminder that he's not good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like. And then on top of that, learning from Bavnik, like he's always operated under the assumption that after he got out of prison, the reason he retained a citizenship is because when your parents die, you get the one back. Yeah. So he had one back, so he's like, oh, mom and dad must be dead. We're done. But like after Bavnik is like, no, your father killed everyone, and your mom fled. So it's like, what? Like, I just thought they died. You know what I mean? Like, that's such an easy period, the end of the story. But you're telling me mom still might be out there in the outlands somewhere because she probably gave up the citizenship to do that, and like that's how I could have gotten it. Is dad still alive? Why did dad kill everybody? What's going on?
Yeah.
So like it's just a mixture of all that on top of the inadequacy, on top of the Idris betrayal, on top of it's just like it's a bubbling cauldron there. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be very smooth, I think, until we get a lot of answers and some closure.
Yeah, that's great because I love that Zanog studies and studies and studies. So there is a correct answer for everything, but what's happening in the real world is simulating chaos.
That's seat of your pants material, and that's not how he deals. Like, he's got the book for it, he'll read the book for it, and he'll come prepared. Like, this is not that. It's gonna be a fucking doozy, I think, by the end of it.
Alex, you got any hot questions?
Is this Josiah's backseat extravaganza, like, at the current moment? Because I feel like season 1 was such a Josiah-driven, Edifos-driven thing. And like now, I can already tell, like, as where usually Zanog would just like look to Josiah to take the next step. Like now you're doing that to him, and it's also throwing off the balance, right? Of like, oh, I thought this was your show, man. I'm just here to fucking learn and get better. I'm just here. You're taking me to all these different places where I'm experiencing all these different things that I'm like learning as I go, and I feel comfortable with this momentum.
Yeah.
But now suddenly you're just like. Like offloading that onto him, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like now, like people are looking to me for answers, and like all this other shit's happening. I guess that's my question: is well, how does Josiah feel in the moment of losing his friend? Like all his friends other than Zanog are pretty much dead. Rosalind's like the Griffin Spring burned down. So like, is Rosalind dead? No one's heard from Rosalind, I think, right? So like, what's the consensus going on?
Yeah, I think this. You're not too far off from the truth of it. I mean, I think that I've definitely said it on other live streams and stuff like that we've done, that Josiah very much wants to push Zanog to be better. Like he sees that Zanog has like this like potential to be like a great wizard of, you know, either a necromancer or just wizard in general. You know what I mean? Like just by watching the spells that he casts and everything. And Josiah doesn't understand magic. You hand him a rifle, you hand him like the schematics for a catapult, or you hand him stuff like that. He can build stuff, he can tinker, he can do all that kind of stuff. He doesn't understand magic. And coming out of season 1 of Venture into Vimros, he's been given kind of a form of magic now that he doesn't really control when he uses it. Like he knows how to use it, but it's very like intuitive. So I think that now he's very much trying to push Zanog to be better and push him into this leadership role. One, because we're in Xyleia and it's Zanog's home, but two, because he kind of wants to watch how Zanog grows. You know what I mean? Like Josiah's an old man, and you know, a lot of the stuff that he's done through his life has led to a lot of people dying under his leadership. So I think the very first vestiges of this were giving the army over to Brigham and seeing if Brigham could run it. But
a couple months later, Brigham dying.
Yeah, exactly. A couple months later, Brigham dies. But I think that it's not pushing. I think Josiah thinks Zanog is better, and is trying to
describe what you mean by better.
I think that Josiah thinks that Zanog pays more attention to the environment around them and makes more calculated decisions than even Brigham did. So I think that with season 2, he's trying to push that for Zanog. You know what I mean? Like we're in Zanog's homeland. We're around his now his family. We're learning of Zanog's past. You know, so I think he's trying to push Zanog to lead this. You know what I mean? Like lead this search for knowledge. Lead this search to be better or to be the best necromancer. You know, and let kind of being the background. If he fades into the background or if he, you know, whatever he does, that's a different story, I think. But right now he's trying to give someone else the spotlight that he's always been craving, you know?
Right. I think that's
Is
gonna
that-
be our breaking point, though.
Yeah.
This whole need to push, or this need to you said it, like you're manipulating people, maybe not with malicious intent, but
Yeah.
you're still trying to be the puppeteer, and I think that's gonna be the breaking point. You're always the general in your own head. So
Exactly.
it's like that's not gonna go well. I don't think that's gonna
No, 100%. As a player, I know it's not gonna go well.
Right.
But as Josiah, like, he's 100%, he's going to be pushing Zanog to learn. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Josiah starts trying to, like, pick your brain on magic to see, like, what you know. You know what I mean? Because, like, again, he's not a magician or a wizard or a sorcerer or anything, but he's been around it. He can kind of gauge you. Yeah, I'm excited as a player to see how that plays out between Zanog and Josiah. Like, the relationship, how it grows and maybe deteriorates. But also to touch on on the other subject of, like, where is Rosalind? Like, Josiah's kind of starting to poke at that search now. You know what I mean? He's starting to ask Holly and Nomi, like, have you guys talked to her? Do you guys have an idea where she's at? You know, is she in a pocket dimension somewhere? Like, what's going on with her? You know, and I think that's more of like the path he'll eventually go down, is looking for her. He's your backseat right now. Does that make sense?
Well, you were with Rosalind for like years, and you kind of just met Zanog.
I think it's also kind of not funny, but you put the target on her back essentially now.
Mm-hmm.
Griffin Spring burned down because people found out we killed Victor. You know what I mean? The wanted posters went up, and who was the one standing outside Griffin Spring for all those years?
Yeah.
You.
No, exactly, and that's the plight of Josiah's character. Like, he's not meant to be a comedy or a romance. He's meant to be a tragedy. Those are parts of his story, but he's meant to be a tragedy. I mean, at least that's how I wrote him. If he actually plays out that way, and in Vimuros, we'll find out. But, like, he's meant to be that character that doesn't get exactly what he wants. Maybe leads other people to getting what they want, but isn't, like, ever fully satisfied himself, you know? Again, a lot like a Whitebeard, you know? You could very much say, like, Whitebeard's character is a tragic character in One Piece. Like, he got he got his family, but in the end, he's really just... foil isn't the right word, but it's the word I'm going to use. He's the foil that pushes Luffy.
Yeah.
Got anime on you.
It's the man who decided to be second best. You know what I mean? I guess that's
exactly.
how I was looking.
Exactly.
I think the one thing that's gonna save it all, like describing it like that, I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. Zanog is after one thing, and nobody's gonna deter him from deviating from that path. But I think the one thing that will keep it all together is the sense of trust that, like, no matter what, we have gone through all this bullshit, and we're still on the other side of it. Josiah and Zanog. No one's taken off in the night. No one's really chosen to another faction over the rest of us. Like, I think that's what gets everything through to the end.
Yeah, and that's why I always joke around that Josiah and Zanog would be, like, the perfect buddy cop movie.
Right.
Like, it would be hilarious because, like, there's no... As you watch their interactions, there's no, like, they don't want to betray each other. And I can't see them betraying each other, you know? But, like, they're always at each other's throats about something, you know?
Right.
I deserve an apology. I'm
That was so
not going to
funny.
apologize to you.
Oh, but you did. Apologize.
The whole situation, how you found the first key, was so great. The leading up moments to it was so perfect.
I love that lot. I deserve an apology. And then, like, just keep literally not saying anything else. I deserve an apology. Watch the VODs. They're great.
And that is a Tavern Talk. We start off with a topic that we like, and it always derails into something much deeper, something much more.
Just like at the tavern when you're all drunk and then suddenly you're on an adventure.
I am Josh McGee, the DM and Storyweaver of Venture into Vimuros. If you enjoyed this video, let us know by giving it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, subscribe to our channel. And then click that bell to keep up with the latest and greatest. We have some recommended videos for you here, and you can keep the Tavern Talk going down in the comments. Until next time, Here, here.